Last night, your brain made hours of vivid original film. You will never see any of it again. You dream every single night, whether you remember it or not. Long, strange, detailed stories, full of faces and places and feelings. And by a few minutes after you wake, almost all of it is gone. Studies suggest that within 5 minutes of waking, you have lost about half of a dream. And within 10 minutes, close to 90% of it has vanished. You produce this astonishing private cinema every night of your life, and you throw nearly all of it away before breakfast. Why? Why would a brain go to all the trouble of making these vivid experiences, then refuse to keep them? The answer is not that dreams are too faint to remember. It is that your brain, while you dream, is running in a chemical state that is almost perfectly designed to forget. To see why, you have to look at what is happening inside your head during a dream. Most vivid dreaming happens in a stage of sleep called REM, rapid eye movement sleep. And here is the strange part. During REM, your brain is almost as active as it is when you are wide awake. The lights are on, the visuals are running, but the chemistry is completely different from waking life. When you are awake and something matters, your brain releases a chemical called noradrenaline. Think of it as the brain's highlighter. It flags an experience as important and helps burn it into long-term memory. During REM sleep, noradrenaline drops to almost nothing. The highlighter is capped and put away. So the entire dream plays out in a brain that has switched off the very chemical it needs to record anything. You are not failing to remember your dreams. Your brain is choosing, chemically, not to save them. The sleep scientist Robert Stickgold at Harvard has spent years studying exactly this, how sleep handles memory, and how quickly dreams slip away. His work helped map that steep forgetting curve, the way a rich dream can evaporate in the time it takes to sit up in bed. And the researcher Matthew Walker has shown how unusual the REM brain really is, awake in its imagery, but bathed in a chemistry unlike anything in your waking day. There is a second reason too, and it is about which parts of your brain are switched on. When you dream, the region right behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex, goes quiet. That is the part of you responsible for logic, for planning, for holding a thought steady, and saying, wait, that doesn't make sense. With it turned down, dreams are free to be bizarre, to leap from scene to scene, to let you fly or breathe underwater without a flicker of surprise. But that same quiet region is also part of how you deliberately hold on to a memory. So not only is the recording chemistry switched off, the part of you that would consciously grab a memory and keep it is offline too. There may be a third reason, hidden in how a dream is built in the first place. In the 1970s, the researchers Allan, Hobson, and Robert McCarley proposed that dreams begin as bursts of more or less random signals firing up from deep in the brainstem, and that the sleeping cortex does its best to stitch those signals into a story as it goes. If that is right, a dream has no real plot, no cause leading cleanly to effect, just a scramble that the brain narrates on the fly. And memory is built to hold on to structure, to sequences that make sense. A story with no logic gives your memory almost nothing to grip. It slides off. The way you cannot quite hold a string of random numbers, but can easily remember a sentence. And there is one more thing working quietly against you, something called state-dependent memory. You recall things best when your brain is in the same state it was in when the memory formed. But a dream is created in a brain so chemically unlike your waking one that crossing from sleep into wakefulness is a little like walking into a different building and finding your key no longer fits the lock. The dream was filed away under a version of you that no longer exists the moment your eyes open. Waking you simply has no matching cue to reach back and pull it up. So when you wake, a dream exists only in the most fragile, temporary form of memory. It is written in disappearing ink. Unless you catch it in the first few seconds, before you move, before you check your phone, before the day rushes in, it fades, because nothing in your brain was ever set up to make it stick. Now here is where it gets genuinely strange. Because some scientists have argued that this forgetting is not an accident at all, that we are meant to forget our dreams. In 1983, two researchers, Crick, one of the discoverers of the structure of DNA, and the mathematician Graeme Mitchison, proposed a startling idea about why we dream. They suggested that REM sleep is the brain cleaning house. All day your brain takes in far more than it needs, forming tangled, useless, overlapping connections. Their theory was that during dreaming, the brain replays and strips out this junk, weakening the connections it does not need. They called it reverse learning. We dream, they argued, in order to forget. And if that is true, then dreams are not a story you are meant to keep. They are closer to the brain's rubbish being carried out. Remembering them clearly would defeat the entire purpose. On this view, the fact that dreams slip away so fast is not a flaw in the system. It is the system working exactly as intended. Their theory is still debated, and not everyone agrees, but it points at something deeper about why forgetting dreams might actually protect you. Think about what a memory is for. It is a record of what really happened, so you can learn from it and navigate the world. Now imagine if every vivid dream were saved with the same strength as a real memory. You would wake with hundreds of detailed recollections of things that never happened, conversations that were never spoken, places you have never been, people doing things they never did. Over a lifetime, your memory would fill with convincing false experiences, and you would slowly lose your grip on which of your memories were real. The forgetting, in other words, may be what keeps the line clean between what you actually lived and what you merely dreamed. Every morning, your brain quietly wipes the night's inventions, so they cannot be mistaken for your life. It is a kind of nightly housekeeping that protects the truth of your own past. This also explains something you have probably noticed. Some people swear they never dream, while others remember 3 dreams before they have had coffee. The difference is almost never whether they dream, because nearly everyone does. It is when and how they wake. If you drift out of sleep in the middle of a REM phase, the dream is still fresh and close, and you are far more likely to catch it. People who wake gradually, or who lie still and replay the dream the moment they open their eyes, or who keep a notebook by the bed, remember far more. Not because their dreams are better, but because they grab them before the disappearing ink dries. You can even prove it to yourself. Tell yourself before sleep that you want to remember, and the moment you wake, do not move and do not reach for your phone. Just lie there and hold on to whatever is left. You will be surprised how much is still there in those first few seconds, and how fast it drains away the instant the day begins. But most mornings you do reach for the phone. You sit up, the day floods in, and the film you made overnight is gone before you have even registered that it played. Hours of vivid original story, dissolved in the space of a yawn. And maybe that is exactly as it should be. Because the alternative, a mind that faithfully saved every dream, would not be a richer mind. It would be a mind slowly drowning in memories of things that never happened, unable to tell its real life from its nightly inventions. So tonight, your brain will build hours of vivid, impossible film once again. And by morning, you will have thrown almost all of it away. Not because it failed to record it, but because forgetting your dreams may be one of the quiet, nightly things that keeps the rest of your memory true.